Alina Habba said, I just personally loaded the infamous boxes onto Air Force One to head home where they belong. Justice has been and will continue to be restored in this country under President Trump. Truth and justice always win in the end. God bless America. She didn't say the Epstein stuff, just infamous boxes, but I think the implication is clear, right?
Yes, that's what it seemed like to me when I read it.
I mean, I guess there's at least an argument to say, hold on, considering the situation with the Epstein files and stuff so far, I wouldn't get super excited about this being the stuff coming out just because of the way that it's been kind of, leaked out so far. I'll believe it when I see it, I guess. Skepticism is the policy.
I think I kind of go with your take on what's going on, because they called this binder the Epstein Files Phase 1.
Yes.
Knowing that there's going to be more releases coming, they obviously didn't intend for this to be the final binder.
And we were specifically told, so I don't want to, because I don't want to create drama like who did what and should they not have done things and should, I don't want to get into that whole conversation. I'll just say that I personally did not hype anything as if it was coming out. And I specifically was telling people back channel that, hey, because in my own mind, I knew what was going to happen. Everybody's waiting for them. Yeah. And then we're going to look like lunatic, we're going to look bad.
Yeah. So what happens is if you're one of the influencers that gets invited to something like this, right? Obviously, I wasn't there yesterday, but I've been to kind of similar things within the White House, and I know the press team and some of the influencer people, et cetera. There's an excitement from being there, right? Yep. There's an excitement to try to be first, to try to do this, to try to take the photo, all of that stuff. And I think that some people get caught up in that. It's a very natural and very easy thing to get caught up in. I've been in similar rooms with some of the people that in that room. I mean, I get it. I think that a lot of the conversation that was happening online that was attacking like Cerno and that was attacking all these other people, and we talked about this, sometimes when you are dragged by other media personalities or pseudo-influencers or whatever on the internet, it sometimes just is jealousy. It sometimes just is the fact that people think that they were supposed to be in this room, and why him and why not me? Why Cerno, why not me? Why Rob Smith and why not me? Why that? I don't know who's Isabel Bryan or Liz Wheeler?
Why Laura Loomer, not me?
Exactly.
I'll be honest.
Love you, Laura.
The conversation around why wasn't I invited is for your personal team and not for the public.
Yes.
So when I called my PR booking communications who's walking out to the White House, I was like, "How did we miss this?"
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, well, let's figure out how we get it next time.
Yeah.
And what did I do? And what did I do today? What did I do today? I texted you the person.
And he handed me the binder.
That's the whole thing. Like, everybody, the people who went after, that's the whole weird thing is, anybody who knows what I do knows that I don't live in scarcity, I live in abundance. So when I'm there, I was like, oh, where's the Federalist at? Oh, no, actually, Sean Davis is next door, right? Oh, the Daily Wire, they're going to be on Air Force One. Right? So I'm getting all this like jealousy from people like, why would you be jealous of me? All you got to do is DM me and I'll give you the number.
And there's nobody that elevates people like Cerno did. Cerno's been elevating me and retweeting me, and we've been DMing for years before we were able to meet. Yeah. So I don't understand why people, like, my whole thing is I don't understand why people attack other influential news people online. Like, save your smoke for the Democrats or criticize our actual political figures. Yeah. But anytime, like, if I'm just thinking like, oh, well, Cerno did this or Tim Pool's this or whatever, it just reeks of jealousy and like scarcity.
You just got to work every single day, do your best. Yeah. And I understand the FOMO, but my thing is like, if I saw Mike Cernovich on a 200-foot yacht smoking cigars, having a party with all the finest champagnes, I wouldn't get angry and pound the table. I'd be like, yo, I got to ask Mike to invite me.
That's kind of a right wing thing.
What do I need to do to get there?
That's kind of a right wing thing, though. The left is the kind of the group that are angry and upset when they see people that are successful, the jealousy kind of thing. You see that on the left all the time. And on the right, you kind of have people that are more like, yeah, man, I want to be in that position, or I'm excited for them. I'm happy because I know he worked hard. That's just kind of something that is normal on the right.
So real quick, we have a correction. People are saying that Alina Habba is talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid boxes, not Epstein.
Oh,
really?
Okay. Well, there you go. The correction.
She should definitely clear that up there.
Yeah.
There's literally a response from someone saying, where are the Epstein files, though? And why in the world did you and Pam Bondi go on TV, say you saw them, and that it was sick, but then we've seen nothing already?
Yeah, that's where my mind went when I saw the insert, so correction.
And that's why I did, and that's why I was cautious. But like Rob and I were talking about last night, one of the way the media world kind of went is, I remember 2015, 2016, Tim was still with another outlet. He was the innovator of technology. He was the early adopter to drones and 360, and that me and Posobiec would embed with the rioters before anybody knew who we were, and we would like take over their microphones and be like, hey, ho, ho, Bill Clinton is a you know what. And people who weren't around then don't get it, but we had other stuff going on, and now with the people who are during their 20s and they're like, oh, I want to be an influencer, it became a career, so they're more motivated by covetousness and jealousy, whereas the people who are OGs, everybody was like, dude, we just stumbled into this world, you know? I just picked up a phone.
Word.
Yeah.
Good word.
Thou shalt not covet.
Yes.
I just want to give a PR bit of advice to everybody out there. I saw a handful of people tweeting things like, I can't believe these were the people that were chosen. You know, the hard work that I did and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, no. That's going to get you banned from all future events. You guys are no.
Yeah.
And I got legal bills I can show them, and they're welcome to all this work. That's great. I'll be glad to show my legal bills, and I'll be glad to get reimbursement for everything that all these people did. I would love that when I had $150K in legal fees for this stuff, at least. I quit looking at one point.
So where do you think the next move is going to be in the Epstein files? Do you think Pam Bondi's actually going to release anything? Friday's come and gone, and we haven't seen anything.
I think that the public reaction was so strong that they have to. That's where the 4D chess comes in. That maybe we were, and I don't want to say set up because I don't feel like it was set up, but maybe the people knew that this would end the stonewalling at SDNY and at the FBI, and the people really want this stuff, right? So we're going to have to get something. My personal opinion is that, and this is where another criticism is like, oh, you're covering up for Israel or whatever, because there was an old clip where they were like, oh, it was a Mossad operation. And I go, guys, whatever it was above whatever Mossad is. Because if it's Mossad, you couldn't talk about it, right? That's how dumb these people are. If you're allowed to talk about something, then that thing you're talking about is not really the thing that they're afraid of you talking about, right? And if you look at what gets people censored, nobody will get censored for claiming it was involved with Mossad. Nobody would. But if you talked about certain health issues a year or two ago, boom, you got banned. Mm-hmm. So people think, oh, I'm so edgy. And I go, no, whatever it is it's the thing above Five Eyes. It's the thing above all of these other entities, and somehow that means it's covering up. It's like, no, it's actually the opposite. I think we're dealing at the level of like sovereign wealth, trillionaires. Not just because there's things above them. We're talking about the royal wealth. We're talking about the trillionaires, right? And who's the trillionaires? We don't know. And if you didn't know, they're a trillionaire. So all these people think they're so edgy. Oh, you're so edgy, Mossad. Dude, it's something bigger, some superstructure.
And this is what I think about it with the 4D chess, idea, right? You have to understand when you're doing this and you're kind of like in this game and you're being, invited to do this or do that, whatever. It's like, think about the level to which you are useful, right? So you are being used in a certain way. What am I being used for? Am I being used for the good of the country? I'm being used for the good of whatever. And I think that that's something that you have to think about when you decide to do these things. I think it just kind of is the name of the game and part of the industry we're in.
There's two different categories. So one is, I don't think anybody who's really familiar with me would be like, well, he's an influencer. I'm an influencer who got John Conyers to resign from Congress because I uncovered sexual harassment documents that nobody knew about. That's not what an influencer says. Hey, look at me. Here's my hot take on like the issues of the day. But I'm a hybrid because I still always interlate a lot of personality to it too. So people who are new to this world or new to me, they're like, oh, Cerno is an influencer, but nobody actually thinks of me in that way. It's more of a hybrid thing. But to your point about, like being useful, that's where, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger actually, they stole this quote from me for his book. Years ago, I wrote an article like this, and before I saw it anywhere else, but it was, stay busy, be useful. Yeah. That's how I live my life. What'd you do today? What'd you do today? Who'd you help? What'd you do? Oh, you weren't. And a lot of these people who are mad are useless. And that's why nobody wants to deal with them.
If you cannot be used, you are useless.
Yeah.
The big story here is that the White House brought in prominent personalities in media who have bigger followings than a lot of corporate press to break a story.
Yes.
And the reaction online throughout the day was outrage over this.
That was the weird part. I would imagine that we or humans would be supporting just independent media getting an uplift. That was what I wanted to see. kind of tried to almost ignore the anger, the outrage, but it was there. Some of it was.
My reaction seeing these photos was to reach out immediately. First thing I did is I tweet, any of you want to come on the show?
Yeah.
And then I talked with Mike, I talked with a handful of other people, and I was like, what happened? Tell me everything. I could not do that if it was the New York Times walking out with these binders. We would have been sitting there being like, once again, the legacy media controlling the narrative. This time around, it was like, holy crap, my friend is telling me the inside scoop on this release.
All right, so let me ask a question because I missed all of this stuff. I was doing some other stuff yesterday when this happened. So everybody that was outraged, right, were these real, like, the regular people that consume our content and follow us, right? Like, were those people outraged, or was it just people that are influencers or news people or whatever?
I saw
right?
Laura Loomer get pissed off, and I mean, she's known for doing that.
Yes,
Because she wasn't included.
with all due respect, Laura was angry that nobody was publishing anything from it.
Yeah.
And then she said she reached out to Higher Right Check saying, give us the file.
And then she learned about the embargo. She didn't know there was an embargo.
It was after
No.
To be fair, after the embargo, largely there was still limited stuff coming out. And then Laura was working, as well as Nick's order, to publish a full scan of the documents. There were a lot of people that were prominent media personalities who were very angry.
Yeah.
Regular people were angry the documents was a nothing. It was a nothing.
Oh, it was
burger.
nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
There were two dimensions. There was the dimension of what he said. The people who were mad kind of scapegoated us because there were a number of things. So one thing, the only criticism I thought was kind of legitimate, even though it was a lie as relates to me. They were like, "Oh, you were smiling," and it was like, "No." They were like, "You were flaunting the binder." No, somebody. If you walk outside and there's a camera, what are you like supposed to cry? What is your reaction?
It's a candid picture. You're walking
okay,
by.
yeah.
Like,
To be fair, Higher Right Check did do a little dance and like show off the
Okay,
binder.
so this is the thing.
I'm not saying anything about anybody.
So this is the thing when,
I got no beef.
this is the thing when you're invited to these things. And I remember like during the DeSantis days in Florida, there were a bunch of Florida influencers, and I had went to some dinner with the governor after this whole thing had happened, and we didn't post pictures, whatever. But there were a lot of the prominent Florida-based conservatives. I think it was like Rubin and Lisa Booth and all these people are people that I know, right? But they took this smiling photo behind Governor DeSantis at his desk. And then I remember seeing all of these people who I knew personally just get totally dragged. And then in my mind, it was like, okay, you have to watch those kinds of photo ops. Like, you have to watch it because, number one, not only are you going to inspire hatred from people that were not invited into the room, people are going to start questioning everything that you're putting out.
So you mean don't gloat?
I wouldn't call it gloating. I would just call it being cautious. I've been into a couple of meetings like this, literally since, what is it, about to be March? Like, I've been to about 2 or 3 things of this year, and there were opportunities to be photographed with certain people, and I declined because it's not personally right for me.
I don't take that Trump thing.
Yeah.
I just got so
But that's
mad at
Trump,
everybody.
though.
No, but I wouldn't even done it if it wasn't for yesterday. Because
Yeah.
I want to just put fuel on the fire.
Yeah.
Be like, you guys are mad. But I'm the same way as you. There's no pic of me with Don Jr. anywhere.
You got to watch that stuff.
And I don't cloud chase anyway. Like I don't think we have a picture together.
I don't think so. And I kind of been thinking about this for a while. I think we should, to a certain degree, not cloud chase necessarily, but I was thinking about how I never even say my own name introducing this show.
Right.
And I'm like, I get it's called Timcast, but
Right.
everyone else says I'm so-and-so, here's what I do, here's where you can find me. I don't.
Right.
And I'm like, maybe the show would be more successful. I actually tried to get photos with prominent individuals or something, but that's just not what I care about.
Right.
You know,
that show's such a huge flop. Yeah,
but I mean,
no
think-
influence at all.
No, but what I'm saying, I guess, is any PR person would say Tim doesn't do the right thing when it comes to marketing his show. I don't get photos with my guests.
Yeah.
Like me and Mike have never smiled for a photo to post on Instagram.
And I'll give you an example. The only reason he wasn't at that thing yesterday was the guy, and that's why I made a text intro. The guy was like, "Oh, I didn't even know Tim left West Virginia anymore." So in a way, it's a marketing failure because they're like, "Oh, Tim's got his thing, and he doesn't travel anymore. He's got a kid." So in a way, you can write yourself out of the mix.
Yes.
Because you're like, "Oh, Cerno hangs out with his kids and mountain bike. He's not going to be out
here." And I'm
here."
telling you, I texted some of the people that were behind yesterday, and like with me personally, like nobody knows where I am in the world all
Right.
the time because like I'm in Miami, kind of like doing my South Beach thing, like playing my tennis or whatever. I'm in DC more often, but what I've noticed about spending more time in DC is that like putting yourself in the mix
Yes.
is a part of all of this stuff. And I've seen success in the stuff that I'm doing.
Well, you got to
just
remind
by
people
going
what
out
you
more.
do. I mean,
That you
I
exist.
ran into a thing where I needed to hire a CFO for a company, and a good friend of mine had left his investment banking thing, and I didn't even know he did it because he didn't think to be like, "Hey, bro, I'm a free agent now." So I was like commiserating with him. I'm like, dude, the books are a mess and blah. He's like, oh, I'll do it for you. I was like, well, how can you do it for me? You're with whatever firm. He goes, no, I left 6 months ago. So the marketing lesson for people is there's a point where you could be too aggressive and ask for too much,
Sure.
and that gets great. Don't be asking me how to get to the White House.
Yeah.
But it's good to remind people, oh, actually, I left the Daily Caller, and I'm at the Daily Wire now, and I'm on a new beat. So like Luke, Luke is hanging out at the event. He does great work for the Daily Wire. Rosniak, I'm bad with names.
Rosiak?
He breaks a lot of great news. Yeah. He's here, and it's good to just let people kind of know what you're up to, whether you're trying to be in this world or if you're an accountant. Hey, I'm an accountant. I'm taking on new clients, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Tim Pool is available for all appearances in the D.C. metropolitan area and tri-state.
Oh,
and Tim Pool wants to be on Air Force One.
Indeed.
Tim Pool will be on Air Force One.
I haven't put it out into the universe right now. Like, I would love to go on Air Force 2 and do, I think I was talking to Raheem because I'm about this, covering JD's trip to Munich and live tweeting that stuff and doing that stuff. That's a really, for me, like particularly on Twitter, a really effective use of Twitter. And I came up to DC and I was doing the Hegseth confirmation. I live tweeted it, and there's all these protesters and all this stuff, and I got that stuff in real time on Twitter, and that was awesome.
Well, let's actually talk about the White House today. Yeah. I mean, you were mentioning this earlier that you would have rather been at the White House today than yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday during our briefing, we were told, because I was like, the influencer thing, I want to be in the room. I want to be where the drama is. And they go, oh, no, they're just signing the mineral deal. This is actually going to be dumb. Enjoy your time. Because I could have got credentialed for the thing today, right? And so I'm in an Uber on my way to the gym. I did my intervals today, my hard cardio, my intervals today. And all of a sudden I see these clips. And I didn't feel jealousy for people who were there, but I had massive FOMO.
Yes.
I was like, I could have been there. I flew all the way out here. And I left my kids, and I'm not even here. How did I?
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.